What are purpose statements, and do you need to add them to your pitch deck story? Let's find out. All right, now let's talk about purpose statements, how to write them and how to use them in your presentations. Now, in the previous video, you learned how to write value statements. Now, value statements are short statements suitable for marketing and sales communication. And purpose statements are longer statements suitable for planning and implementation strategy. Now, the value statements would go on the cover slide of your presentation. That's where you treat it like a book cover. And the purpose statements are usually put on additional slides. It could be right after the cover or towards the end of your presentation. Now, at a very high level, purpose statements involve these. They involve your vision statement, your mission, your core values, and your business philosophy. Now, your vision statement is the big picture and long-term aspiration of your business and your project. Your mission is how you plan to achieve your vision. Your core values are the principles that guide your actions, and your business philosophy are the overall principles and moral obligations of your business or your project. Now, many people find it easier to work backwards, to work from the foundation, from the philosophy up. And so really, when you think of it that way, you're answering these questions. So the business philosophy is, why do you do what you do? So what is the reason behind why did you start your business? Is there a reason behind it? That could be the philosophy behind your business or the project. The core values are, what are your values and beliefs? So what are the ones that will set your guiding principles of how you get that job done? Your mission is, what do you want to accomplish? So what is your mission for doing that? And then your vision really is answering the big picture. What does the world look like after you accomplish your mission? So when everything is done, what is the ideal situation? Now, it's very hard to reach your vision, but that's something that you aspire to reach. Now, you might have noticed that many businesses don't have these purpose statements, so then why should you be creating any of them? Well, many people start a business out of a need and not necessarily out of a passion. So some people might start because, well, they lost their job, so there's no other reason for it. That's not the business philosophy. Whereas in many cases, there are many businesses that are built on a philosophy. Maybe it's built on solving an environmental problem. It's built on solving a social problem or a business problem. So in this particular case, these companies would find it much easier to come up with these statements. So that's why you'd find many small businesses don't take the time to create these messages until they need to hire more staff, or they're working with a business partner, or they need to look for investors. That's when they start thinking, oh, do I need these statements? I didn't even know I need them. So if you don't have these statements, well, you are not alone. Now, if you take the time to create them, they can help you stay more focused on your vision and goals, and they can set the tone for the quality of the products and services you deliver. Now, even if you don't plan to share them with the market, they will guide you and your teams. Especially as you start growing your teams, you will need these principles to guide them and fine-tune your message. Now, if you're not sure if you need to include these statements in your presentation, you can look at this slide again. Now, just because you created them doesn't mean you need to add them to your pitch deck. You can always add them to your internal presentations. Now, the tagline and value statements help you show the tagline, slogan, value proposition, and unique selling proposition, which we talked about in the earlier videos. They're really more about what's in it for them, what's in it for your audience. Whereas your purpose statements, your vision, mission, and core values and philosophy are more about you and how you conduct your business. So really, if you're trying to decide if you should add them or not, try to think of how you speak when you are talking to your teams, when you are describing your solutions to your market. Are you the type of person to speak, oh, our vision is to do this, or our mission is to do that? So try to pick to the personality that you are choosing. And that's why having that brand archetype would come in handy. For example, the jester archetype is not going to go around saying, hey, this is my mission, this is my vision, because the jester is more about having fun and about spreading joy and happiness. So depending on the brand archetype, whereas more if you are the archetype of structure, if you are the ruler archetype, then you'll definitely need to have these statements to set that tone for your leadership status. Now, as you work on your presentation storyboard, you get to decide what statements can work best. And in many situations, sharing the purpose statement at the end in the goals section can work better than putting that up front, because most people don't really care about what, the purpose of your business, but maybe towards the end that can work. So really, there's no wrong or right way. You can change things around during the editing phase. Right now, what we're trying to do is create your storyboard and the building blocks, and then in the end, you get to decide based on the audience what type of content you can share. Now, that's why when you're looking at big corporations, you're going to notice that usually they are the ones that share these vision and mission statements. For example, if you go to LinkedIn, you're going to notice on their website, they have the vision and mission statements. So their vision is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. This is a big vision. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to reach it, but that's their vision for creating it. And their mission really is, LinkedIn is simple: connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. So they're putting that on their website. Now, if you go to another company like Lululemon, which is a sporting outerwear company based here out of Vancouver, Canada as well, they don't talk about mission and vision. They talk more about their philosophy. So really, there's no wrong or right way. This is just the personality that they want to present their values to the market. Whereas if you go to more organizations that are structured, for example, like universities and colleges, you're going to find that they share everything. They share their vision, their mission, the philosophy, their core values, because these brands are more about structure. Remember the archetypes we talked about before? So they are there to create that structure, and usually to create that structure, you need to be sharing your values with the market. So once again, there's no wrong or right way. Depending on the setup of your business, you can decide if you want to create them or share them. But if you plan to scale and you want your team to represent your brand, then they would come in handy to create these messages. Now, here's an example from a previous video. So on slide 1, you can see you can share your value statement. So this will be the value statement that could be used on a website cover page. It could be used on a sales presentation, on an investor presentation. And if you need to, you can add additional slides where you can add your vision and your mission. And these would be things for internal communication, or maybe you can share them as your goals before you have that specific call to action. Now, even if you don't plan to share them publicly, these messages can help you and your team stay focused. So you can start by sharing them internally. If it'll help you with your teams. As you get more feedback, you can fine-tune them. Really, they're not set in stone. Many companies do change these visions and missions over the years. I remember working at a software company, we changed the vision almost every 5 years. The mission could be changed every couple of years. So really, there's no wrong or right way. These are more kind of the guiding principles of how you can get the job done. So now, before we move on, can you remember what are the questions you are answering with these statements? Now, the reason you're sharing them is because you're answering a specific question. And so here they are once again. Your business philosophy is, why do you do what you do? Your core values are, what are the values and belief systems that guide the guiding principles for your services? Your mission, what do you want to accomplish? What does your business or project hope to accomplish? And your vision, what is the ideal situation once you're able to accomplish your mission? Now, my tips here once again is move fast. You don't have to get stuck on here, because I see many people get stuck for months trying to come up with these statements. These are not final. Just put something for now. The first thing that comes to mind is usually the intuitive one. You can always fine tune and experiment and change them later. So your action item really for this section is to decide if you need to add the purpose statements in your presentation. Are they relevant right now? Do you have a team? If you don't have a team, then really they're only for you. So they might not be a priority right now. But if they are a priority, then I do recommend you watch the next few videos where I'm going to show you some formulas for creating your vision, mission, and core values. So go ahead, and I'll see you in the next video.